The United Kingdom is a country steeped in history. From industrial powerhouses to beloved seaside towns, its landscape is dotted with communities that once thrived. But behind the headlines and the tourist brochures, there's another story, a quieter one. Across the nation, certain towns and cities are steadily losing residents. Some leave in search of jobs, others for better housing, education, or simply a new start. Whatever the reason, these population shifts are reshaping Britain, house by house, street by street. In this video, we'll explore 10 places everyone is quietly leaving in the UK and uncover the deeper reasons why. Boston, Lincolnshire. Boston is a market town with deep roots, its medieval church still dominating the skyline. But today, Boston is better known for its complex relationship with migration and its record-breaking Brexit vote. While its agricultural sector once provided steady work, Brexit brought uncertainty. Farms and food processing plants still operate, but wages are low, opportunities limited, and many locals feel the town is caught in limbo. Tensions over integration, stretched public services, and a sense of lost identity have left some families moving out altogether. Boston remains culturally rich and historic, but for many, the future feels uncertain, pushing them to look elsewhere. Hartlepool, County Durham. Hartlepool's story is a familiar one in the north of England. Once a shipbuilding powerhouse, the town built its identity on industry. Generations worked in shipyards and steelworks, but when those industries collapsed, Hartlepool struggled to adapt. High unemployment, struggling high streets, and limited investment mean young people often head to nearby Newcastle, or even further afield for opportunities. Despite efforts to regenerate the marina and preserve its naval heritage, Hartlepool continues to face hardship. It's a town with spirit and character, but one that's quietly losing the next generation. Dover, Kent. Dover should be thriving. Its iconic white cliffs and busy ferry port make it one of the UK's most recognisable towns. But beneath the surface, Dover faces deep challenges. Brexit shifted trade routes, bringing uncertainty to logistics jobs. At the same time, locals complain about underfunded public services, crime and a struggling high street. While Dover still plays a vital role as Britain's gateway to Europe, that importance hasn't translated into local prosperity. More and more residents are moving inland to places like Canterbury or Ashford, leaving Dover at risk of becoming just a transit town. 7. Paisley, Scotland. Paisley was once a global name thanks to its famous patterned textiles, but as Scotland's textile industry declined, so too did Paisley's fortunes. Though part of the wider Glasgow metropolitan area, Paisley hasn't benefited equally. Poverty, health problems and unemployment remain stubbornly high. Young people, in particular, leave for opportunities in Glasgow or Edinburgh, rarely returning. Recent cultural projects and regeneration efforts, including a bid for UK City of Culture, have breathed some life back into Paisley. But the challenges are deep-rooted, and many residents are still quietly moving away. The Rhondda Valleys, South Wales. The Rhondda Valleys once fueled the entire nation. Coal mining dominated the area, and communities grew strong around the pits. But when the mines closed in the late 20th century, the valleys were left with little to replace them. Today, boarded-up shops and ageing infrastructure reflect decades of neglect. Younger generations have moved to Cardiff, Swansea or beyond, leaving behind communities proud of their heritage, but struggling with limited opportunities. Unless major investment arrives, the population of the valleys may continue to dwindle. Barrow In Furness, Cumbria. Barrow is one of Britain's most geographically isolated towns, almost surrounded by the sea. Its economy relies heavily on shipbuilding and defence contracts, but those industries employ far fewer people than they once did. Young residents often leave for university or jobs in Manchester or Liverpool, and many don't return. What remains is an ageing population, stretched public services, and a town fighting to hold on to its identity. Despite its natural beauty and strong community spirit, Barrow's slowly losing people, not because they want to leave, but because they feel they have to. Great Yarmouth, Norfolk. On a sunny day, Great Yarmouth looks like a holiday postcard. Sandy beaches, arcades, fish and chips on the pier. But for locals, life is more complicated. The town's economy depends heavily on seasonal tourism, which dries up in winter. Jobs are often insecure and low paid, and young people leave in search of careers that can sustain a future. Many families relocate inland to Norwich or further afield. While Yarmouth still draws holidaymakers, the permanent population is shrinking, making it one of the many seaside towns struggling to survive in modern Britain. 3. Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire. Known as the Potteries, Stoke-on-Trent was once the world's centre of ceramics. The industry shaped the city's culture, identity, and pride. But as global competition rose, factories closed and unemployment soared. Today, Stoke still struggles with deprivation, poor health outcomes, and limited opportunities for young people. Many graduates leave, never to return. Though the city has tried to reinvent itself with cultural projects and a growing digital sector, the scars of deindustrialisation remain visible, and people continue to quietly move away. Middlesbrough, North Yorkshire. Middlesbrough is one of the clearest examples of industrial decline in Britain. Built on steel and chemical production, the town once stood as a proud engine of the UK economy. But when industry collapsed, Middlesbrough was left behind. Unemployment rates remain high, and the town struggles with some of the highest poverty levels in the country. While there has been investment in education and the arts, such as the Middlesbrough Institute of Modern Art, many young people still leave for Leeds, Newcastle, or London. For locals, Middlesbrough is a town full of pride and resilience. But for many outsiders, it's become a place to leave rather than stay. Blackpool, Lancashire. Blackpool is perhaps the most symbolic example of population decline in the UK. Once the crown jewel of working-class holidays, its piers, illuminations, and seaside attractions drew millions. But the golden age has long passed. With the rise of cheap overseas travel, tourism dwindled. Today, Blackpool faces high levels of poverty, unemployment, and some of the lowest life expectancy rates in the country. Many properties have been turned into cheap rentals, attracting transient populations and putting pressure on public services. Young people often move away, leaving behind an ageing community struggling to cope. Despite promises of investment, Blackpool remains a stark symbol of decline, a place many are quietly leaving, not out of choice, but out of necessity. These 10 towns tell a story far bigger than themselves. They reflect the challenges facing whole regions of the UK: deindustrialisation, underinvestment, and shifting populations. Each place still holds beauty, pride, and potential. But without meaningful investment and opportunity, people will keep leaving. Quietly, steadily, and sometimes permanently. Perhaps the real question is not why people are leaving, but what it would take for them to stay. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.